Hey, what's going on, everybody? In today's video, we're talking about the March Madness Fishing Lure Edition, so you're going to want to stick around. This is Suburban Adventures, our outdoor adventure channel, where we focus a lot on fishing and other outdoor adventures. And I love March because I love March Madness. I love basketball. I've always loved picking my bracket for college basketball. And I'm going to do a March Madness, a fishing lure bracket edition. So here's the bracket right here. What I've done is I have chosen 12 fishing lures. I tried to think of as many as I could. I couldn't come up with 64, so we did 12. So check out this bracket. We got the top 4 seeds get a first round bye. Now, how did I pick the seeding for the initial layout here? Well, I kind of just went based off of me ranking them 1 through 12. What's my favorite through my least favorite. You can disagree with that, but I really couldn't think of any other way to do the initial seeding. So over the next couple weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to vote on what your favorite lure is, and I'll explain how you're going to go about doing that toward the end of the video. Okay, but we're going to do the first round this week. All right, so I'm just going to start and go through here and talk about each one of the first round matchups. Okay, so let's start at the top with the 8 versus 9 matchup. And in this matchup, we have the spinnerbait versus the jerkbait. Now, the spinnerbait is this type of thing, if you're not familiar. Okay, now again, let me just say I get it, right? I get it that you're going to use each of these lures for different applications, different times of year, different fishing environments. I understand, right? But just think of it this way. If you could only fish with one lure for the rest of your fishing career, which one would it be? So this is the 8 seed. This is the spinnerbait. Usually has some sort of hook with some sort of combination of spinners. As you drag it through the water, these spin, okay? And the 8 seed is going up against the 9 seed, which is the jerkbait. Okay, the jerkbait sometimes will look something like this. The jerkbait, as you retrieve it, you jerk and then pause, and what it's designed to do is on the jerk, it sort of will either dive or flutter or do something like that. It's generally supposed to mimic an injured fish. So that is the 8 versus the 9. The spinnerbait versus the jerkbait. Now, as we move down to the next matchup, we've got the 5 seed, which is the top water. Something like the Whopper Plopper or the El Chapo, or, you know, anything that's designed to go on top of the water, right? That's why it's called top water. That's the 5 seed. Here I have an example of the Whopper Plopper. As you spin it, the tail spins around and creates a plopping noise through the water. That's the 5 seed. 5 seed goes up against the 12 seed. My 12 seed is any sort of creature bait. I have the frog here, but it can be anything. I've seen creature baits that are mice, that are ducks. So that's the 12 seed, the top water lure versus your creature bait, you know, your frog. All right, let's move down now. We got the 7 versus the 10 matchup on the bracket. And the 7 versus the 10 is the swim bait. Now, there's a couple different types of swim baits. This is like a jointed swim bait. There's also soft plastic swim baits that usually have like the paddle tail, okay? So the swim bait comes in at the number 7 seed. And the 10 seed, the swim bait's going up against the 10 seed, which is the chatterbait. Now, the chatterbait can be like a buzz bait or something. And again, the general idea here, there's a hook on this side as it's pulled through the water, okay? This spins and creates either a buzzing or a noise like that that's supposed to attract fish. So that is generally called the chatterbait. So that is the 7 versus the 10 seed. And then lastly, down at the bottom, we've got the 6 versus the 11, okay? The 6 seed is a blade bait. The blade bait is usually thin, like a blade. It's usually metal, and as you can use this, you can jig it, or as you drag it through the water, it usually sort of wobbles through the water, and it makes like a slight vibration as it goes through the water. That's the blade bait. And then the 11 seed is the jig. There's all sorts of jigs. Jigs usually have some sort of weight at the top. They don't always have to have sort of this skirt, but this one does. So there's the jig with the weight at the top, then it's got a skirt, then it's got a hook. And you can either put a soft plastic on there, or you can top it with something. Okay? So that is your matchup. We'll put the bracket up on the screen right there and give you a few seconds to look at the matchup. Now, the 1 through 4 seeds, they get the first round bye, so we'll be voting on them next week. My number 1 is the spoon. This looks like this. I love this spoon. It's my favorite lure. You can disagree. My number 2 is soft plastic. I love soft plastics, any kind. It can be the worm. This is a double a grub, two-tailed grub, where you can have the grubs. Okay, so soft plastics are my number 2. Inline spinners, something like a Meps or a Panther Martin. This is a little different than the spinner bait because this spinner is in line with the hook. So as you drag it through the water, this spins around, and that's the 3. And then the 4 seed is the crankbait. The crankbait can be either square billed. The bill depends on the size and depth that it's going to dive. Crankbait's my number 4. So those are the 4 seeds, 1 through 4. They get a first round bye. So how are you going to vote? Now, again, if you know nothing about fishing or baits, fine. Just go based off of the one that you think sounds the coolest. So, for example, like every March, my family does a March Madness family bracket. And, you know, like my daughter will fill it out based on which team's color she likes the best, or where she'd rather go on vacation, or, you know, which mascot wins in a fight. So do the same with this. If you know nothing about these lures, go based off of which one you think sounds prettier or which one you think sounds tougher. So, but here's how you're going to vote. Okay, I'm going to put the bracket up again, and you can look through and you can vote a couple of different ways. You can just simply comment on this video, and you can just comment below in this video. And at the end of the video, I'll put the bracket up there for about 10 seconds. You can pause it and look at the first round matchups there. Also, if you go to my community tabs on my YouTube page, so if you go to Suburban Adventures, go to my YouTube page, the channel, at the top there's a place that says community, and there will be a post there in which you can actually vote. Okay, I'll put a poll up and you can vote for the first round matchups. I also will put it on the first round matchups on my Facebook page. So if you don't follow Suburban Adventures on Facebook, you can go to Suburban Adventures Facebook page and you can vote there just by commenting. You know, yeah, I'll take the 8 over the 9 or whatever. Okay? So those are the 3 ways that you can vote on this. And then I will update you next week, next Tuesday, and we'll go to the second round matchup and see who goes on to face the 4 top seeds. So anyway, I just thought this would be something interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. At the very least, it gives you an overview of 12 different types of fishing lures and what they kind of do. I will post the bracket here right now to end. Remember, get out and explore no matter where you live. Don't forget to vote for your favorite lure in this first round matchup. We'll see you next time.